You'll let me know when you're need.
One more minute, Mark.
Okay. I'll be muted till the meeting, I guess, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't last more than 2 hours.
You need 2 minutes.
No, 2 hours, I mean. All right, I call the meeting, I call the county board of commissioners to order. Father, may you grace cover each aspect of this meeting. Make this a safe space for people to express their opinions and place where ideas matter more than titles. We pray for those who have lost lives and those helping to save lives. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings.
We're changing things up a little bit here. We're going to reset for the salary board. Call the salary board meeting to order. Evan, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, any guests? None?
Next item is the report of executive sessions held.
He's doing it. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking he's doing his time. There were 2 of them, April 14th, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. and one April 18th, 2023 at 10 a.m.
We have no business on the agenda. We have a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Motion.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you. And you have a quorum for retirement, correct?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Mark.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care.
Hello?
Okay, I'm going out. You still there yet? We'll be here in his, we'll be in his meeting. We'll hear his meeting.
Okay, our first item under commissioners is approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held April 13th, 2023.
Second.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes. Any guests in county business? None at this time.
Next item is the opening of bids for refuse collection and single stream recycling at various county locations.
Did not receive any bids?
Then I'll go ahead and move to re-advertise.
I'll second that.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
The report of executive sessions held.
There were 2 executive sessions Friday, 4/14/23 at 2 p.m. for personal reasons, and Tuesday, 4/18/23 at 2 p.m. for personal.
Department reports, the budget transfers for 2022 and 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Supplemental appropriations.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Expenditures, approval of check numbers 235-561 through 235-667 through the general fund clearing account totaling $585,413.78.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
The treasurer's report.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
The personnel report for county departments.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
The acknowledgements for courts and row offices.
Move to acknowledge.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press upon request. Area Agency on Aging. For approval and execution, the charitable organization registration statement to be submitted to the Pennsylvania Bureau of Charitable Organizations for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022, which is required for the Carbon County Area Agency on Aging due to receiving charitable contributions. The annual fee is $100.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Bid award for approval. Recommendation was received from the Director of Planning and Development to award the contract for the CDBG bid opening on April 6, 2023 for Palmer and Borough Street improvements, reconstruct, pave alley, Railroad Alley and Spelter Road, fiscal year 2019-2020 to Barker & Barker Paving and Excavating of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, at the bid price of $181,661.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Boards and authorities, Area Agency on Aging Advisory Board, appointments. A one-year term to expire June 30th, 2023, representing the community. Susan D. Smith, St. Luke's University Health Network.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Second.
Yes.
A one-year term to expire June 30th, 2023, representing consumers. Mary Zalesnock of Weatherly, Pennsylvania.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Communications 911 for approval and execution. A renewal of the maintenance support agreement with CK Alarm Systems of Mountaintop, Pennsylvania to provide 24/7 hardware support on the Honeywell digital receiver and emergency software support through MicroQ Solutions on the 911 alarm monitoring system for 1 year, June 1, 2023 through May 31st, 2024. Hardware will be at $135 per month, software $139 per month, for a total cost of $3,288 per year, which represents no increase.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Planning and Development for approval and execution. A project activity completion extension request to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, requesting extension of the completion dates for the following CDBG CV project: Carbon County Peaceful Nights and Jim Thorpe Borough Kemmerer Park, contract number 75512. From January 1, 2020 to October 6, 2023.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
The Solicitor's report.
Thank you. For the animal shelter, seeking a motion to reduce the price of adoptions from $100 to $50 at the animal shelter for the month of May, National Pet Month.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
For 525 Iron Street, seeking approval and execution of change orders numbers 2 through 10 to the contract with CMG of Easton Incorporated, as per the attached list at no additional cost.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Next, seeking motion for acceptance of a quote that was received from Integra One of Allentown, Pennsylvania, for Aruba wireless installation and configuration of 8 wireless access points to be installed and configured for children and youth at the 525 Iron Street location at a total cost of $9,364.38. And this is a CoStar's contract HW 3-E22-580 and SW 6E23-252.
Motion approved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Seeking ratification of the acceptance of a proposal from SA Communal of West Lawn, Pennsylvania, for repairs to leaking pipe fittings and valves located at the 525 Iron Street building, including the replacement of a leaking plunger valve on a dry pipe valve, placing leaking 6-inch pipe on the incoming water line, which is to be done at a future date. Leaking section of 4-inch pipe and 2 leaking 4-inch fittings at a total cost of $5,151, including labor and material.
Move to ratify.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Seeking approval of a resolution honoring Jonathan Darrow. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Member of the Boy Scout Troop 25 of Whitehaven, Pennsylvania, on attaining the rank of Eagle Scout.
Would you get that written into the record from Jim second?
Yeah.
If you'd like, I'll read that into the record and the motion. Whereas Jonathan Darrow of Weatherly has succeeded in achieving scouting's highest honor at the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas Jonathan Darrow is a member of Boy Scout Troop 25 of Whitehaven, Pennsylvania. During his scouting career, he has earned 40 merit badges, 3 Eagle Palms, and was elected to the Order of the Arrow, Scouting's Honor Camper Society. Jonathan has served in many leadership positions, including assistant patrol leader, scribe, historian, chaplain, aide, assistant senior patrol leader, and troop guide. And whereas Jonathan Darrow's Eagle Scout project was building a new 10 by 6 foot meeting table for the Weatherly Historical Society. They were holding meetings on a folding table. Jonathan, having an interest in the history of the railroad, approached the Historical Society to offer his help. Jonathan built the new meeting table, a display table for exhibits, and a bookshelf for the Historical Society's books and folders. Jonathan chose the lumber and a dark stain that would meet the feeling of the Historical Society during the coal region's influence. The project consisted of more than 82 man-hours, with volunteers working on various parts of the project off-site and then assembling them at the Weatherly Historical Society building, putting the furniture into use immediately. And whereas Jonathan Darrow has developed the necessary skills and determination to achieve an honor he will value for a lifetime. And whereas Jonathan Darrow is an inspiration to young men through his dedication and leadership. And whereas the Board of Commissioners of Carbon County wishes to acknowledge the accomplishment of Jonathan Darrow. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Carbon County hereby recognizes the achievement of Jonathan Darrow and hereby commends and congratulates him in attaining the rank of Eagle Scout, adopted by the Carbon County Board of Commissioners this 20th day of April 2023.
And we will be attending the second one.
Do we have a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Next, for the Lehigh, Lehigh and Northampton Transportation Authority, seeking approval to enter into a revenue support agreement with Lanta to implement a Mock Chunk Lake Park beach bus route that will serve the communities of Jim Thorpe, Lansford, Summit Hill, and Nesquehoning on 15 consecutive Saturdays, commencing Memorial Day weekend, May 27th, 2023, and concluding with Labor Day weekend, September 2, 2023. The cost of the service prior to fare collections and other potential revenue generating offsets is $4,464.90.
Move to approve.
And I will second that, and we will have a discussion. I guess we can have a presentation.
AJ, yeah, AJ Jordan from Atlanta will come on up, please. Yep.
Great. It's on. Can you hear me? Well, thank you for having me here today to discuss the C bus Mock Chunk Lake beach bus. It's a very short, easy presentation. Happy to answer any questions, but essentially this was a concept first brought to Lanta's attention by Commissioner Lukasevich, recognizing a need for better access to the lake for the youth of Carbon County from the boroughs across the county. So he approached me Atlanta. And for the record, sorry, my name is AJ Jordan. I'm the manager of planning and scheduling for Atlanta. He approached us to discuss feasibility. So we looked into various alignments, routes, and found some options to present to the county. If we want to move to the next slide. So we can see the purpose here: provide transportation access to Mock Chunk Lake Park for the families and youth, as I just said, in the summer of 2023, and hopefully onward. We go to the next slide. What we determined was a kind of circuitous looking route, but Carbon Transit's garage is in Nesquehoning. And in order to serve all of the centers, we determined the most cost-effective route was to serve Lansford, Summit Hill, accessing Mock Chunk Lake Beach Park, and then continuing on to Thorpe, avoiding the historic district, going through the hill in Easton Thorpe, returning to the lake for 3 trips each day. We can come back to the slide if you'd like, but we go to the schedule on the next slide. What we're proposing are 6 trips, so 3 times a day, going to the lake, Jim Thorpe, back to the lake, back to Nesquehoning, to provide access for park open, midday afternoon trips, and park closed trips. These would be on our fixed route buses, so different from the CT van service that you might see more ubiquitously across the county. Fixed route service is open to the general public. Everyone can ride, but also the youth of the county that may want to frequent the park or work as a lifeguard. So we're really excited to propose this service. As mentioned, it would be a revenue support agreement where the county agrees to cover the total potential cost, but any revenue received through bus fares or other services provided throughout the summer would come off that total cost. So the number presented today would be maximum cost, but we do have great potential for revenue recovery.
I'll make a couple comments, kind of expanding a little bit upon the purpose of this. First and foremost, it is to introduce the youth of Carbon County and these specific communities to Mock Chunk Lake Park, to start nurturing a bond between the youth and the park, in the aspiration of someday that psychological bond turns into lifeguards, seasonal maintenance workers, seasonal rangers. And we have to start developing that now, because we are and we continue to be in a dire situation with lifeguards and seasonal employees, specifically in the youth range. This does promote a low cost, high quality family experience opportunity that are few and far between in Carbon County. There's $4 round trip, right? We only charge $2 for children and $3 for adults to enter Mock Chunk Lake Park. So for a full day of family fun and activity, I think it's very economical. Our annual passes are $20 for an individual, $40 for a family. I think also, these 4 communities, neither of them have a municipal pool other than like Weatherly, Lehighton, Palmerton, who do have access to a safe outdoor recreational swimming opportunity. And also in regards to Jim Thorpe and Summit Hill, they are host communities to Mock Chunk Lake Park. I do think this helps eliminate transportation as a potential obstacle to family activities here in Carbon County. And I know AJ referred to the revenue offset, and I see it as 4 different ways that we expect to make an honest attempt to make this revenue neutral. I don't think a particular service of this nature needs to be, but that's what we always want to strive for, at least revenue neutral. We did purposely, and as I was looking at proposing and advocating for a slight increase for non-county resident families, we increased that $25. Fares are going to help offset it. We also expect an increase of visitors to Mock Chunk Lake Park, who of course pay an admission fee. And also, we do have a future proposal for leveraging Lanta services for fall foliage, giving shuttle and parking out of Mock Chunk Lake Park. So extremely high probability of a revenue neutral, if not actually a revenue generating experience. no program is going to be successful over simply one summer, right? You got to start advertising, getting the word out, and importantly, the word of mouth. So this is really, I believe, just the start of something that could be extremely successful. And I have to thank Lana, AJ for the conversations we had, Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau, and Carbon Chamber, because all of them, including Dave out at Mock Chunk Lake Park, has been an integral part of this discussions over quite a few months to kind of bring this to a decision point for the county. And that's all I have.
The only discussion I have about it, I mean, there's good intentions here. But I think there has to be more thought in this. One of my sticking points is, I mean, it's great to get people there. And like Chris said, we have issues at the park. I think we have one lifeguard. I think there's a lot of issues, and the money wise, I'm not afraid to invest to help people out, but go back to it says families and youth. And I have an issue with the younger kids getting on the bus. They get on at one location. Is your driver going to monitor? Say if a kid goes, you know what, my friend, I'm meeting him at Boyer's. I got to get off here, but he can't get on to 115. Who's going to watch that 12-year-old kid? You know, I'm just worried about the liability that comes back to us. You know, when we put a child on a school bus, they got put on the school bus, they got dropped off, a paraprofessional takes care of them, they go through the school. What's going to stop these kids from dropping off any place else if they get on the bus and they say, okay, you get on here, you're going to the Mock Chunk Lake, and you signed on that you're there? How do we ensure the parents that these kids are going to get to where they are? That's my sticking point. I mean, and it's advertised as families and youth, but we could get 20, well, or what is the limit, 12 or 30?
15 proceeding. You could have
15.
more.
Yeah, you could have more staying, but potentially you could get younger ones on the bus, correct? That would be unattended. Exactly.
Not younger than 12. We also currently have at Mock Chunk Lake Park, children as young as 10 years old can currently, with the current policy, be in Mock Chunk Lake Park without an adult supervision currently. Now that is being changed to up to 12, right? To coincide with the change to Lanta's acceptance of youth. Now look, you know, days have changed, but as a youth, from 6, 7 years old, I was all over Jim Thorpe on the bus. Never had a problem or an issue. I don't see an issue today with 12-year-olds getting on a bus and going to Mock Chunk Lake Park. Just don't see it. Again, we can continue to shelter our children and be overprotective. And you know the type of adults we're going to have, right? Ones who need protection when they're 24, 25 years old. Children need to be mentored, guided, and they need to have an opportunity to grow and develop. And I know riding the Jim Thorpe bus during my youth made me a better person, made me mature. And when I missed the 10:15 bus over at the high school, I was walking back from the east side of town, back over to this side of town to get home. And I'm a better person for those times. I made those mistakes and I had those failures.
And like I said, times have changed. I mean, I have a nephew that's looks like he's in 7th grade and he's only in 3rd grade. Like, who's going to screen these people? Are we going to have real ID for them? And that's the thing that bothers me. I'm not going there, getting there, but it's like these kids are going to be unattended. Are we going to have it that it's just going to be a bus ride for kids? And then somebody that really does go to the park, if there's going to be a hangout. I don't know. And to not start something, it would be wrong. Also, and I see his point that we want to get people there, but I need insurance that these kids, that how are you going to do it? If, like I said, if my nephew shows up and he's 9 years old, you're going to let him on the bus. How are you going to determine that? Because I don't think your bus drivers are certified in anything of education or whatever with the kids. And are they going to say, okay, this kid's getting off of the bus at, say, if he's on Nesquehoning and goes to Boyer? Are you going to be able to stop that kid from getting off? Because the intent of this is go to park. It's not to go to Boyer. It's not to go to Summit Hill. this was something here. And I'm just going back to our agreement with Landa. When we change things over, I see things that have changed with Landa that we did before that people come in and complain to me about. There's issues where they've been going, I mean, they go through different towns. And what we turned over to Landa is not what I was expecting. And I want this to be what we're getting and make sure the kids are safe. And that's the thing about it. If you want to take it, put it this way, you know where I'm going with this. It's not going to pass today because it's you and I voting on it. If you want to table it and there's a discussion and you can say to me, these kids will be protected. There is some kind of safety measure that they have to do. I mean, when you get on there, is there something that the parents have to sign off on that they're responsible for? The kid just can't show up at 8 years old and think that he's not 12, you know, or thinking he's 12. So what is the insurance that is gonna prove to me that that kid can ride on that bus?
AJ, is there any problem ID required?
Well, sure. I'd just like to address all of these concerns. To answer the questions, I'd like to separate that there are two different types of service operating in Carbon County right now. There's CT van and CT bus. CT bus is a fixed route service that has different drivers than our CT van service. And I hear the concerns with the CT van service, but our fixed route drivers are trained to operate regular schedules daily. And they're very attentive drivers. That we have regular riders that in all of these communities on our weekday service that would be operating this on Saturdays as well. There is nothing preventing a rider from getting off at the Boyers. It is a public transit route. That is their right, you know, to not ride all
And
the way
this
to the
was
lake.
told to me
But-
as going to the beach.
But
Right
that-
there it says, beach, bus,
Right.
route.
But it
It
is
does not say stop at any location in Carbon County. Right there, it's on the top, then change the name of it. It says beach, bus, route.
It's a route that goes to the beach, but as we were briefed previously, we can't limit the use of it. It is public transportation and we're bound by that agreement to provide.
Correct. And that also provides some additional revenue opportunities for any, you know, seniors in Lansford Tower to go to Boyers as well, provide some revenue. But these drivers are very attentive. If there are any issues, they will know these riders regularly. For under age 12, drivers are allowed to ask for age verification before boarding the bus. So if there's any question, drivers can absolutely verify that. There's also nothing preventing any parents from riding along the bus or any other adults to ride along.
Well, that's what
in
I'm
addition to
getting
the
at.
operator.
If you're a kid, and you just can't send your kid out there, you know, and I know, like Chris said, he didn't have no problems. That was 50 years ago. Today is today. You know, there was just a report in the paper that somebody was walking around with a dog trying to pick kids up in Franklin Township. We're advertising that we're putting young kids on the bus, and we promote that we're a vacation towns and vacation county. Don't you think everybody from outside world sees that? I think we're looking at something that, I mean, hopefully nothing would happen, but I'm just looking at, we got to protect these kids. And I don't know what our liability, you know, even like with the solicitor, I'm just not comfortable with this, that there is no verification with this. You know, is there something when the parents call up, okay, Johnny's going to be there and Johnny's going to the stop, you know, and like I said, if you want to have it, don't put it beach bus route, because beach bus route, it looks like me, they're going when you're picked up and they're going to drop you off at the beach. That's it. And I said, I go back to it again. I have notes all the time when we change things over to land. I'm not happy with some of the things. We had people going out of town that we resolved. There's other things, and there's routes that Landa has changed that was being done when the county had it themselves, and it was changed. And that's a fact. And people come to me all the time, and it was changed. When we turned it over, I don't want something like this, that, and this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna be turned over to you, to Landa, to do this. And it might not be what we want. I want to see more what's happening there. And like I said, I just don't like these kids getting on the bus whenever they want and getting off whenever they want. And you can't tell me that they're qualified, because they could be qualified. But like I said, if I'm a kid and I get up there and I said, you know what, my mom said I can get off of this. What is that? Is that person going to have the mother's phone number to call and say, you know what, Johnny wants to get off the bus and he's going to 221 Hazard Street. Is that what they're gonna look into? We don't know where these kids are going. If you're doing that beach bus route, then tell me that they're going on the bus and they're going all the way through and getting dropped off. And I don't think you can do that.
AJ, what's the current age? The minimum age at this time for a person to get on Carbon Transit in Carbon County to go anywhere that the routes run.
The current
The current, right now, today,
5 and under. Or 5 and over.
5 and over.
Not by themselves.
Yes,
They
absolutely.
can get on. Well, then
5
you
years
better
old.
look into that.
Is the current policy.
Are you
Well,
really
that's fine,
kidding?
that's going to be changed.
That is the current policy.
Yeah, I think you ought to, I tell you what, you ought to change your policy of 5 and older is anything.
To what? To what age?
Well, I don't know.
So we're saying it's not 12, so where is it? 18?
Okay,
Age of
you know
majority?
what? I'm done discussing this. I know where the vote is. I don't need more
Well,
discussion.
I'm not.
I can call for the, I
No,
can
you
call for
can't.
the vote.
No,
If
there
we
has
want
to,
to.
no, Robert Rules of Order says
Keep
there
going.
must be a majority that calls for cessation of discussion. A chair or acting chair cannot conclude or prevent discussion, cannot stop it.
Keep going.
Robert's rule.
You can call for an hour. You're not gonna change my mind.
That-
because
that's
I'm here to
fine.
protect
We're-
Kids at Carbon County.
Well, no, you're not. What you're doing is you're taking away opportunities from families and children in low-income neighborhoods in Nesquehoning, Lansford, and Summit Hill, who don't have the transportation, who don't have the resources, and are now being given 1 day a week where they as a family can come together in a quality outdoor recreational
And you keep saying
opportunity
family.
that others
Like
don't
the,
have.
like the family come and the parents with. I know
Well,
I'm
they
there.
may, but if I'm a 13-year-old and I want to go with my middle school friends or buddies to Mock-Chunk Lake Park and I'm in Nesquehoning, Lansford, Summit Hill, or in Jim Thorpe, son of a gun, I want the opportunity to do it. And this is the vehicle to make it happen.
I would just add, I appreciate the concerns very much. We have been running this service for a long time, the fixed route service, it used to be called Links. And that policy was in existence prior, the 5 and over policy. We agree that it should definitely be more than 5, but we've never had an issue. On our fixed route service, we have regular operators that are intimately familiar with the area and are able to communicate, monitor, and provide any authorities. We've also discussed if there are any issues with anybody getting stranded. We also have protection buses that are always on standby and an operations staff that are monitoring. So I would argue this is the safest way to transport people to the lake. I definitely hear the concerns though.
So if this is a priority, when are you just gonna change like the riding, who can get on, what age?
Oh, well, I
If
mean,
it's a priority, you should did it already.
we had the discussion this week.
Yeah, we always have discussion.
No. I mean, I believe we were posting it to the website yesterday, because in this discussion we had with you, I believe it was last week, we talked about this and recognized that age limit was too low, and we changed it immediately. We looked into our rules, we were allowed to change it. And so when I asked confirmation of today, I think today it's now officially 12.
Right. And Mock-Chunk Lake Park is under, they're moving towards raising it to 12 years old to coincide the two policies. Actually, the Parks and Rec Commission discussed it on Friday, EJ. All right, that's all I have.
Any call for the vote? Mr. Honor?
No.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Absolutely, of course, yes. Thank you, AJ.
Any further business? Commissioners report, Mr. Honor?
The only thing that I do have, everybody knows that I think the senior games are coming up. Do you have the schedule? Does everybody have the schedule for that? I think that's about it. There isn't really much of anything else. I think that's fine.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yeah, I want to do a shout out to the Times News. A couple of weeks ago, I got a message from an individual who was working on a technology initiative with the Times News, and want to thank them for implementing the electronic edition to include the clipping capability, which has been up there in the Standard Speaker, newspapers.com. It's a great additional asset and resource. And I hope the archives continues to expand into the past for historical research. But I just want to recognize the Times News for that. I think also we should laudatory comments to Blue Ridge rolling out their 2 gig service. But now let's also ensure we're getting the and underserved areas of Carbon County. We in the boroughs and the major municipalities are well served, but there's many areas of Carbon County that still have unreliable, overly expensive internet connectivity. That's all I have.
Meeting adjourned. Call the meeting of the Carbon County Retirement Board to order.
Morning. We'll start with the motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held March 16th, 2023.
Motion approved. Second.
Are there any guests concerning retirement board meeting or business? Oh, okay. There we go. Mr. Zoika.
Yes.
Mr. Bender, I abstain. Mr. Arner.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Now I'll ask, is there any guests concerning retirement board business? Report of executive sessions, there were none. Motion to ratify the warrant, checks number 40890 to 40901. Direct deposits number 702-1152, 702-1556.
Motion ratify.
Second. Mr. Zelinka.
Yes.
Mr. Bender abstained. Mr. Arner.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Retirement activity for the month of March. There were 9 retirement refunds. There were 1 superannuation retirement, notably Jerry Scarpati with 36 years of service to the IT department. There was 1 deceased, Gail Berger, who was a longtime manager at Palmerton District Court. He had almost 46 years of service, and she was just a great person and will be missed. The disbursements for March, the monthly benefits were $473,963.99. Option 4, $116,593.88. Refunds, there were $31,955.90 for a total disbursement of $622,513.77. The portfolio value as of March 31st is $83,562,905.99. And as of April, really didn't change much. April 14th to $83,374,631. Correspondence, we did have correspondence. We're going to need a motion for a request by a member to purchase unpaid leave time for service credit. Motion. Second. Mr. Zelinka. Yes. Mr. Bender abstained. Mr. Arner.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Solicitors report.
No report.
There's no investment manager. No new business, old business, further business.
Meeting adjourned. All right. Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Amy.
Morning. With the reduction for National Pet Month, do you know how many dogs are currently at the shelter?
There were, I think, 6. I'm not positive there were, but I think them ones that they dropped off, I think they found a couple homes for them already. Yeah, so I think the maximum could be like 6.
But they're not at capacity like other times.
Oh, no.
And then let's go back to the beach park. But I guess this would be for AJ. Is he still here? Okay. How many children currently ride the routes in Carbon County?
Current ridership trends are 0 children. Currently, we have approximately 64% are senior riders, and the remaining are adults. That is on our current fixed route service that is operating weekdays only between Palmerton and Nescohoning.
Thank you. Now, on the bus stops, I saw at Jim Thorpe High School, and had Lansford Boyers, but where in Nescohoning and Summit Hill, if that would come to fruition, because I know you guys voted 1-1, so it's kind of at a moot point at the moment. Where would that go? Where were those two other stops in Nescohoning, if that came?
So Carbon Transit, the CD bus operates flag stops, so there are designated stops, but then you could also board at any safe intersection. So any not along the highway segments, but in Summit Hill and Lansford and Nescohoning, pretty much anywhere from Carbon Depot, which is near the middle school in Nescohoning, west through the senior tower, Panther Valley Mall, Boyers, and then up the hill in Summit Hill. There wouldn't be any boarding at the intersections on the highway segments.
Thank you. And then, how many people, if this come about, would this actually hold? I know it was 120 max on that, but the bus obviously isn't going to hold 120 at one time.
Sure. Yeah, so that number was 15 per trip per direction. So if everyone rode both directions, 120 max for seats on the bus. And as was mentioned, we have protection buses. So if we ended up being over capacity, we could easily add a bus and increase that number. But I found that to be unlikely in particular this year.
Thank you. And then commissioners, following up on that, now that it's 1-1, will this come up then again at next week's agenda? You're looking at
I
probably-
really wouldn't have no problem with it. And like I said, I think he explained things and we had a meeting with him. And even like he's talking that if there's an app or, there's coverage that if somebody would be left somewhere or there wouldn't be enough at the park, they could come back and get something. And it's just my sticking point is like, I just don't like younger kids. I think there should be a different age set, or either when they're at that, parents should have to go with them. This is a big thing, and I think you heard him. He says that right now we have currently no kids riding. It's a big thing from going from no to 10 to the possibility of 10. Yes, I'd like to have them there, but I want to make sure that they're going to get there safely too. I mean, there's, like I said, are there safeguards, when they sign up? Are there, things that they could actually call the parent? I don't know, you know what I mean? Because you see the way the world is. And I don't think we need an accident to happen in Carbon County.
Yeah, this will absolutely come back up when Commissioner Notstein is back here. Make no mistake, we have a philosophical difference, right? I want to raise real men and real women who can confront challenges of the 21st century. And by babying kids, we don't get where we need to be. We have enough challenges in our society because of helicopter parenting, the disintegration of the family unit. This is an opportunity beyond what was explained in the direct purposes to have collateral positive gain, right? Starting to develop, give our youth an opportunity to have a little bit of independence, right? There's no indication. I have seen no data that shows in any way this would be unsafe. Absolutely none at all. Can you always put in more safeguards? Absolutely you can. The fact of an ID card for children who are 12. Again, what's it going to be? The safe age is at 14, 16, 18, right? Again, and what's that going to be based on? Well, I feel comfortable a 16-year-old. Well, guess what? A 16-year-old is already potentially driving if they own a car, if their family can afford it. The 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old child can't drive themselves. We don't want them necessarily with a 16 or 17-year-old driver going to mock jump late park. So I'm extremely disappointed. And make no mistake, every decision that is made at this table becomes an issue. It becomes an issue in May, it becomes an issue in November. And I'll use everything I can, every tool I have to make sure the individuals who are seating at this table are looking at the best interest of every citizen in Carbon County to include the 4 communities that are mentioned in this.
And if that's the campaign against me to.
Trust me, Rob,
and if I'm not looking out for the youth of Carbon County, you might wind up not getting any votes yourself, because that's what my
You know,
job
right
is,
now, I'm not a candidate, so I'm not worried about it, you know.
and I'm not either.
Well,
Because I think that people are gonna make the right choice. I
We
hope
make
they do.
decisions.
And this is not the political venue here. What we're going back to is, and just going back to Lambda, my issue is, and I think Chris hit on it 100% again. And we didn't follow through on like these things. Should kids have ID? Like I said, we want our kids to grow up and not be afraid. But is that kid that 8 years old gonna be responsible enough that looks like a 13 or 14-year-old? What's gonna happen to that kid on the bus? That's where I'm saying we have to have protection. That's a good idea. Then if there's something like the kids all have ID. Free, you have to get the kids an identity, that, an ID card that they can get on. They go to school now, they have an ID card. What's wrong with having an ID card for this? And I said that there would settle me right there. If they were gonna break it off at that age, I'm just saying about the kids that are 8 years old that look like 12, that aren't mature enough to get on that bus. Do they even know to get back on the bus at 4:30? That's all it is. And then we're gonna wind up having buses run at night, and the parents are gonna wonder where they're at, because they were supposed to be dropped off at Boyers, and they're not there when they came to pick them up.
If that's your position, why didn't you simply make a modification, move to modify the motion to include?
Because I don't know what they're gonna say, and that's what happens. We come to this table and we're presented with stuff. He didn't even know that the age was moved up. Okay, so everything, didn't you say that the age was 5 years old and he's modified? And then when I asked you, you weren't sure, but now you think 12.
No, we changed the policy this week. I wasn't sure if it's been posted to the website. We changed the
Exactly.
policy after the
Exactly,
discussion.
we always come to these meetings after the fact. I need this proof right before the meeting, not when it comes in here when you do a presentation. I don't do that to anybody. When I present things, I show it up front, and if you don't like it, then we table and discuss it next week. There's a major issue here for me. And that's what it is. It's that kid that gets on the bus, that kid actually 12 years old. And right there, if you come up with some kind of system that they could get ID cards, I'm all for it, because I think it's good to get the kids there. I have no problem with that. I just need them kids that are under 12 protected. And if that's what it is, that you think that 12-year-olds can run wherever they want, and if that's the way the world thinks it is, but I'm looking at the ones that aren't 12 that are gonna get on the bus. But, and that's, I said, that's one of my sticking points. I think I mentioned that before. And it has to come to a meeting, and then it has to be tabled and make a big show of it, and then next week it'll get passed. And that's not the way the commissioners work. I think every day we get somebody coming in here and presenting stuff to us, and then it comes to the meeting and it's different. This is sort of different than what you told us 2 weeks ago.
Not at all.
Well,
The only
you might
difference is-
know a
The
lot.
only difference is we added Jim Thorpe to the route. It's option B instead of A. It was initially Nescoming, Lansford, and Summit Hill. Because of the concern that the additional time and movement back and forth with Jim Thorpe. But as it being a host community and recognize there are unquestionably children who have historically used Mock Chunk Lake Park, to go ahead and choose option B instead of option A.
And I do want to sort of change the subject a little bit on this, but with the lifeguards, we have one person that is, I think we're probably going to hire them for that administrator of the,
Yeah, supervisor.
the supervisor,
supervisor.
but we have one potential lifeguard. I think it got to get out there, and I think that's something that we got to look into. There's other, I talked to the one that runs the Huntington pool and the one that runs Palmerton. But I think it's a little bit of a different lifeguard training than what is at a pool, because if you can, there you can see the bottom, it's different. Here we have a lake that it's a different training. And I think if we're gonna have to look at that to give them more money so that we entice lifeguards. And if we don't get lifeguards, we have the potential of losing $3,000 to $5,000 a day if that park is closed. I mean, if it's entry for everybody. And on an off day, it's probably 3,000, and on a full day, it's probably $5,000 a day. And that's what keeps the park running. So I think, the bus run is good, But I hope it, one of the articles is that we need lifeguards, or we will not have fees coming into the park. And that's essential to us. But, and when I talked to Dave this morning, he said he had one, that quit last year, the person's gonna get recertified and might come back. You know, just because they're getting certified, they can go to another pool. You know, and that's the trouble with it. Like, there are pools like Huntington and Palmerton that are run very well, and I think our parks run very well. You know, I don't say about that. It's just that for us to draw throughout the whole county at the wage that we pay, if there's an overabundance in Palmerton, them kids aren't gonna fly up here with that money. You know, we're gonna have to do something, because it's like, if we have to hire guards, and I sort of in my head, probably anywhere from $800 a day. That it might cost us if we have 5, you know, just to make a proper rotation. But we're losing $3,000. You know, we're getting behind, and like I said, that fee that comes into that park every day is, I mean, we put into it, but that's essential, that money every day that comes into the park. And like I said, I think you're, with the busing it is, and I said, I just had that one sticking point. You know, if you would come up with something, reasonable, it
Well,
would be a different outcome.
I would add, you know, safety is the number one concern, and
Yeah.
we did adjust the age limit based on our conversations last week. If there are additional safety policies that we'd like to enact, we absolutely can.
And like I said, all the schools, and I don't know if everyone does, but I thought they all have IDs. I mean, that might be a great idea to do that. You know, if you have your kid, you sign him up that he wants to go, and they get an ID. You know, if that's something that gotta come out of our fund, you know, if they don't, you know, if it's low income, I'd be more than welcome to pay for a $2 ID for a kid that we know that they're of age. Versus not, you know, if we have 100 kids and it costs us $200-300 to do that, that I would be open to. Yeah. All right,
Mr. Runner, can I ask you a question?
yes.
I want to ask you, how safe do you feel about our children getting on the school buses? And maybe today, you're gonna say they're gonna get off at their grandmother's house, they're gonna get off at their father's house, or if their father's separate, they're gonna get off at their mother's house. How safe, how much safer?
Well, I think when they're on the
How
school bus, I thought that they,
How can you even not support this issue?
but
this
when
issue-
they're on a school bus,
Because
usually they
maybe
report.
you should be more concerned about our school children riding on the buses every day. And they never know, the bus driver has no idea if they say, I'm getting off at my grandmother's house today, or I'm getting off at my father's house today.
do.
And,
know,
and they
just-
might do that, but that's another thing that's up to the responsibility of the school. If there's a bus stop that's supposed to be, that's on the route, they should notify the bus company. And actually, the parents should tell them, okay, I'm getting off at this location. They shouldn't be just, if they have 10 kids getting off, they're supposed to track that, I thought.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I mean-
not only in Jim Thorpe, but in Lehigh and also, they have the same problem with kids getting off where they have no right to get off the bus.
And that's not a
and
county
that's what
issue,
I'm
that's
saying.
a school
This
board
is just
issue.
for one day a week.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, gosh,
I mean-
rocky.
Edie, you're going to the wrong board about the school. Go to the school boards if you have an issue with that. This is the county, and I'm looking, and like I said, these kids stop it, and they might be getting off of the grandmother. This is a stop that they could get anywhere off, anywhere.
Yeah.
They're not gonna stop them from getting off, and I said, then change it. Don't say bus trip to the park, you know, to swim. And that's, you know, I'm still gonna stick with that, and I said, that ID might be the thing to do. You know, that might be good, like I said, it'd be nice if the parents went with them, but.
Let them be entitled to one free day.
Yeah.
Let them be entitled to one free day. To Mock Chunk Lake.
Thank you, Edie. Rachel.
Okay, so for the busing, are we also hoping that this, the busing route will maybe ease parking concerns at the lake?
There are no parking concerns that
anything else?
Nothing else. Okay, yes, that's it.